What's going on, badasses? Well, look at that. The Kawasaki's on the table, not the Harley? What gives? So we're doing some upgrades here. I'm getting Ivan's flash tune done. I'm putting the Acura header on there. And we're going to do the airbox mod, which I actually don't really know what that entails. Some of the mods I've seen entail cutting the bottom out. I really don't want to do that. Some entail just drilling a couple holes and doing your block off plates, which I'm more about. Yeah, so sorry, I'm not totally great about the whole YouTube thing yet, so I haven't been making videos of this whole process. But I got the stock exhaust off and the servo motor, right? Little header at least. Replaced that. Got the new Acura. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible cameraman. And yes, cameraman, not camera person. Yeah, we got the whole new Acura header up on there. We got the radiator back all buttoned up and everything. I chose to take the guard off. Various reasons. Anyways, I got the side covers back on. I was a little low on coolant. And yeah, so that's a little bit of an update of what I got going on with the Z. Let's see, the ECU's out. That is currently in South Carolina with Ivan, or on a truck on the way there. I'll probably hear from him Monday about it. As I'm filming this is Sunday. I sent it on a Friday, so, he's probably just about to get it or whatever. Yeah, so once he gets the ECU back, we'll have that taken care of with the full Ivan's Performance Flash. We're going to do the airbox mod. And, yeah, I pulled the dyno jet out of here because of his flash. I really don't need it. And, I've still got it. If I want to do finer tuning later, I can. But with his flash as the base, it still has all the power limiters removed in low gear. It still, raises the rev limit and everything. And then you can fine tune your fueling afterwards if you want to spend the money on a dyno. Anyways, yeah. Getting the airbox out was a bitch, as it always is. I've fucking done it. I've done it probably at least 7 or 8 times on this bike already. And it's still a bitch every time I get that thing out of here. I know how to do it quickly. I'm just cussing the whole way. These clips have destroyed my fingers, and I'm in pain, especially because I had to basically do the dyno jet for the freaking second time on it. Yeah. Ooh, one little thing. Also, I guess we'll make this part of the title of a Lightech lever hack, I guess. I put the Lightech superbike levers, I guess they're called. They're the ones that bend upwards, right? You can probably find a video about these on RevZilla of them doing a great review of it. You're not going to get it from me. Yeah. So, as you can see here, let me get my light here. So, as you can see there on the inside, right? I'm going to hold the light with my thumb and balance the camera. Okay. So, now you see how this little piece right here, this comes with the lever. This looks ugly as shit, I know. This comes with the lever, and that touches, there's a little button there that when it releases the button, your brake light comes on. You release the lever, it pushes the button in, your brake light flashes on. I'm sorry, when you pull the lever and the button comes out, the brake light comes on, so you release the lever, and the fucking brake light goes back to normal. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, so I was trying to put this lever on, right? And there's a little tiny nut. On here it has an Allen head's key, an Allen head. On this side, it's got a little tiny nut that goes with it, right? And you got to kind of half thread it and crank it on there to get it to, fit with all your little grommets so that you can reach the button. Well, long story short, that tiny little nut is really easy to drop. And they only give you one. So mine's somewhere down in a mouse hole or some shit. And, never to be seen again. But what worked out great, quick little hack, you see what that is? I couldn't find a nut in my garage that fit, but that is the nipple for, a brake master cylinder or caliper. It's the same damn thing. Fit right on there, perfectly. So, yeah, got that taken care of. I know it's probably, maybe a quarter of a gram heavier than the nut that was supposed to be on there. So I've completely ruined the Lightech levers. And, you know, you guys can light me up for that in the comments. Or you can respect my feelings and say, Don, you did the best you could. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, you know, it is what it is, badasses. We got the gold chain on here. Oh, something I forgot. I put a new chain. DID. Something or another. Oh, I got the box up here. 525 VX3. Whatever fucking cheap sprockets I could get that would fit some sort of super light. You know, honestly, the stock sprockets and chain weren't even really all that cooked. I got, the front sprocket's a bitch to get off on this bike too, by the way. Get help if you're going to do that, especially if it's the first time having it done on the bike. Here's my old chain and sprocket right there. It wasn't even really worn, even though it's got 20,000. Well, 17,000. Yeah. So that's where we're at with it. New chain, new sprocket. We got a good rear tire on there. I got the Power 5 back there, a new one. Waiting for my ECU so I can finish airbox mod and, yeah, tie up the rest of that. The new exhaust is on. Things going to be ready to hit the streets. Next up for this thing is Traction Dynamics is the only company that makes a fork kit for this bike. And I've heard it said that this bike has a dead fork that only, you know, it really isn't really doing anything and this and that. But I also know that it's got, you know, adjusters for compression, adjustability, you know, compression, rebound, and preload on both sides. So they're both individually adjustable. So I think that with a good set of valving and a spring kit, which basically nobody makes except for Traction Dynamics, and you have to pull the forks off and send it to them. They won't just send you the kit, which is fine, I guess. A little bit of extra shipping you have to pay and shit. But yeah, nobody else makes one, so I'm excited to see what that's all about. I've seen a dude on the Z1000 forums, Ungarish, shout out to him. He's got another orange and white, red and white, he calls his, which his does look more red. Maybe he's painted it or something. Ungarish, he's got the red and white 2010 Z1000 like this one. He just had some Oz wheels mounted, right? Anyways, he had a whole bunch of like custom machining done to the, you know, to the bushings for his steering head for the forks, because he had 4th gen forks fitted on here, and he had you know, he had to have a new bracket machine so that way he could fit that sexy shroud up there, right? The dude put a lot of work into making 4th gen forks work on this. And they also dropped the front end of the bike a little bit, which can be good. You know, it makes it a little tippier. Personally, you know, I think the worst thing about the 4th gen is its ground clearance, the geometry changes they made to the bike. Honestly, they made it less sporty, more, I don't know, I guess just upright, street brawler kind of wheelie machine, right? Anyways, not really my style. I like the tippy sport bike kind of thing. That's why I went with the 190/55. And long story short, I think I'm just going to go with the $699 Traction Dynamic fork rebuild. And, you know, that coupled with the weight loss from the exhaust, coupled with the weight loss I saw that Ungarish got with the Oz wheels, which I really want to try. Look at the little peeky, peeky, peeky. I really want those Oz wheels. This bike, how I have it set up, should be in the 440s with the Oz wheels and the exhaust. He weighed his bike out down into 430s, like the same weight as the stock ZX636, which is insane. Yeah. So hopefully I can get those guys to take care of the forks, get some good valving and stuff up there. The lightning will help all of that, you know, because, you know, especially when you got lighter wheels, all that less unsprung weight, the forks will have a way better job, or easier job keeping it in contact with the ground. Same thing with the rear shock, which is what I was going to get to next. They're the vendors of the Penske shock for this bike, or the easiest to find here in America, right? I'm sure there's somebody else in the UK and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, they got the Penske shock, so I'm thinking about that. The Nitron seems to give people a lot of good experience, but you know, I don't know. I'm replacing a shit shock. Why replace it with a mediocre shock? Why not just replace it with something good? And I've never been a fan of the Öhlins yellow, so Penske it is. Penske black and gold. Probably get the 3-way adjustable with the remote piggyback reservoir. I don't know where I'll mount it. Maybe I'll mount it right there, where the subframe meets the subframe. And yeah, that'll be that. If you got one of these bikes and you've never taken the rear wheel off, it's extremely freaking easy. Stop being afraid if you got to change your tire or change your chain or whatever. Just freaking do it. Honestly, the only piece of advice I gave you there is just loosen that front sprocket nut first, because it's going to take the rear brake, someone sitting on the bike, and every bit of strength you have to do it. Or a 1/2-inch impact, which I have a Nitro Cat 1250 XL that did not stand up to the test. So, you know, it took my entire body weight on like a 4-foot bar to break that bitch loose. As you can see, I'm still PTSD about it. But yeah, that's where my bike's at, guys. We're looking at a big power boost, a good power or a good weight decrease. And it's a power boost across the whole RPM range. You know, all the fans of this bike know this thing is making over 50 torque from like 2,000 RPM on. From like 3,500 on, you're basically over 70 torque. This thing's a torque machine. And I'm just going to have more of it soon. Yeah. The old man's riding the Harley around here and there. He still wants something faster. But the Stage 2 Harley's doing okay. I've definitely come around to liking this thing a lot more. It's got some power. It's got some grunt. You know, I guess the steering isn't as bad as I made it out to be when I first got it. But yeah, the better seat on it does it justice. Just looking at it, you know, puts my mind in a better place with it, because it just looks more full. It doesn't have that open bone there that I had before on the frame. This is I haven't even introduced this to the channel yet. This is a 1979 Yamaha XS750. Now, this thing was bought new in 79 by a guy, we'll call him Steve. Steve parked the bike in 1980, never rode it again. It sat in the same spot in his garage, unless he, was cleaning his garage or something, for 40 freaking years. We just bought it from him. We cleaned the tank out a few times. We get a cursory cleaning of the carbs. Yeah, we got it to run. And not only did we get it to run on these original 40-year-old tires that aren't even dry rotted, I took this bitch for its first ride in 40 years. And that 750 triple has actually got a good sound to it. And it's pretty much as quick as this Stage 2 Sportster. But the carbs still weren't right. Especially the middle float seems like it's sticking. And yeah, so we just pulled it apart to, completely rebuild the carbs, do it right instead of just a cursory clean. And yeah. So, sorry, I was a little bit distracted there. Oh, he's outside. Anyway, that's where this thing's at. We picked it up for $700. So hopefully, we'll be seeing a little bit of a profit out of this bike. So far, the investments are spark plugs, carb cleaner, and a battery. And, all the other cleaning and stuff. The paint on the tank is in such great condition. The chrome isn't too great. But, 10 feet away in the dark, this bike is going to look stellar. Little old Honda, trustworthy and reliable as ever, While everything else is getting either rebuilt or modified, and this thing's still here to get me to work or to get me to the parts store, whatever the hell I need. It's like, and shout out at Shade Tree Surgeon. Dude makes some of the best moto vlogs on YouTube. It's kind of like how Shade Tree Surgeon and Shay Lisi's little Savage 650 is, It's just it's just a little down for anything kind of cruiser. It's just, you could get off it and just drop it on its side and just come back to it, pick it up, and it would start right the fuck up. That's the kind of bike it is. It's always there for you. But anyways, and we still got this piece of shit here. Aprilia. Hopefully one day that thing will be gone. But anyways, badasses. This has been Engine Notes from Underground. I hope you like the new exhaust. We'll have a clip of the sound coming as soon as I get the ECU. You all stay super fly. Don't get too high. And, hey, thanks for being a guy. Have a good one, y'all.